Hello everybody and welcome back for more Let's Play Pokemon Crystal. In the last episode, we made it to Azalea Town, and it's here we find out that Team Rocket somehow returned, and they're cutting Slowpoke tails selling on the black market. Let's read this mail here. Be good and look after the house with Grandpa and Slowpoke. Love, Dad. Oh, nice. I like these derpy looking faces of the Slowpoke sprites. That's hilarious. So anyway, let's go kick these guys' ass. What do you want? If you interrupt our work, don't expect any mercy. Alright, so basically it's just a regular Rocket Grunt battle. Interestingly enough, though, this generation actually does introduce some executives. Unlike in Gen 1 where it's just like Team Rocket and then, or Team Rocket Grunts and then Giovanni. But this generation does have their own executives, but they're all just called executives. In Heart Gold and Soul Silver, they actually gave the executives their own distinct character designs and also their own names as well. Which is actually something that's pretty neat, you know, something that that's actually more fleshed out in this case instead of just being executives, because that just would have been generic. And so this Rocket right here is only going to use coughing. I believe in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, I think the executive you fight, which by the way, this in those games, the executive's name is Proton, and I think he uses another Pokemon besides coughing, or if it's just like two coughings, I can't exactly remember off the top of my head. And what that coughing just used there was Smog, which, you know, it's a damage-dealing poison-type move, and it does have a bit of a chance for your Pokemon being potentially poisoned. And I don't think I ever explained poison in this game here, but what it does, not only in battle that your Pokemon will take damage for each turn, but that also affects your overall as well. For like every few steps, then you see the screen kind of flashing, and then that's how your Pokemon will gradually take damage until it finally faints. And Daruk just learned Magnitude, and Magnitude is a ground type attack, which of course, you know, it can be its power varies depending on what level of Magnitude it is. So like the highest number of Magnitude could be 10, so it's just basically the more powerful kind of, or the most powerful attack, or it could be just like the lower ones will just bring out very little power. So it usually randomizes for which kind of Magnitude level. So anyway, so now this Rocket Grunt's been defeated, and so we foiled their Slowpoke tail cutting plan, which is morbid and just cruel. Just using animal cruelty here. So anyway, so now Kurt's placed the Slowpoke tails back on there. I don't know how it's possible to like either stitch it up or use duct tape or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and explain what Kurt does here. Like basically this kind of mechanic where what he does is that he is a Pokeball creator, and then sometimes you whenever you see some of the these trees around the places, like not only would they contain berries, but they can also contain apricorns. And if you bring it over an apricorn to Kurt, then he'll go ahead and craft it out and make it into a Pokeball for you, or whichever ball there is, depending on what kind of apricorn they use. And it actually does take a day for it to be made, so just wait till the next day, and then if you talk to him like while he's he'll already be working on it, like he'll be in his workshop. And just be working on it, and then once it's ready, then he'll just be right in front of the exit, and then he'll just let you know. He'll just give you the ball. I don't really use those services that much though, because most of the Pokeballs they use are actually kind of useless. And even though they would say in the description of what they do, it's actually the opposite of what they would do. In fact, one of these days I'll probably just look up to see what it actually does, or what they actually do, even though the description of it is kind of a lie. And the Lure Ball is usually for, I believe, something that you can use for fishing up, or whenever you catch Pokemon by fishing. So, anyway, with all that out of the way, so I guess it's time to go ahead and tackle the Azalea Town Gym. And so we're going to be facing Bugsy, and the gym here specializes in bug types. And we're going to, of course, start with all the trainers here, because, you know, we're gonna need to start with the trainers. And then here is our first encounter with the twins. Now, even though it seems like you're battling just like two little characters here, you're still going to be facing off in single battles, because I know starting with Gen 3, then you'll be then all the twins you fight will just be all double battles, because Gen 3 is one that introduced double battles. But yeah, twins usually will use alternative based Pokemon that are like are either version exclusive or just like, or basically like Pokemon that have their own counterparts. So in this case, they'll be using Leddyba, and then they'll use a Spinarak, which is actually our first encounter with a Spinarak. Spinarak is a bug and poison type, and has some moves like one of its own signature moves, like a Spiderweb. That what it does, it actually prevents the opponent from escaping, like either from running away or from switching out, or in this case, with trainer. And one little minor detail that's that I never knew about was that whichever twin you talk to, they'll actually start with another Pokemon. So like since I talked to the twin on the left, she started off with Spinarak, but if you talk to the twin on the right, then she'll actually just start off with Ladybug. So it's a very minor thing, but actually kind of neat, of course. But yeah, that was, oh, and one other thing, I think I've already mentioned about Spinarak, but Spinarak and Ladybug are both time exclusive, so Ladybug can be found during the daytime, and then Spinarak can only be found in the, at nighttime. So, so of course, if you, well, honestly though, I think Spinarak might be the better choice than Ladybug, because Ladybug doesn't really have that much good of a move pool or kind of stats, but Spinarak does have wider access to its own move pool. Like, it does later on learn Psychic, well, at least its evolved form does. And this here is our first encounter with Paris. Paris is a bug and grass type, which means that it's 4 times weak against fire and flying types. Like aside from learning some powder-based moves like Sleep Powder, Stun Spore, stuff like that. And oh wait, let me start there, cause look at this, Iwata is evolving. Look at that, our very first Pokemon evolution. It's gonna be our own starter. So let's see, evolves it to, and it's none other than. Congratulations, your Iwata evolved into Quilava. I like a little mohawk on his head right there. It's a nice little fiery mohawk. So anyway, so let's go check out the set. So yeah, Quilava, it actually evolves from Cynical at level 14. I forgot it evolves at level 14 because I'm much more used to the starters evolving to their second forms at level 16. But no, not in this case. It evolves pretty early. So Quilava, the volcano Pokemon. Before battle, it turns its back on its opponent to demonstrate how ferociously its fire blazes. That sounds badass here. So anyways, so yeah, our very first Pokemon evolution, and you know, very early at that too. So it's actually kind of a neat little thing about Quilava here. It'll evolve to its third form at a later level, but probably like much later on in the game. So anyway, so back to what I was saying about Paris. Later on, once it evolves to Parasect, it actually does get access to its own signature move called a Spore. Well, at least in Gens 1 and 2. Then it was the only Pokemon that knows a Spore, which is always a guaranteed kind of that puts the opponent's Pokemon to sleep. And it wasn't until Gen 3 that it's shared with other Pokemon like the Shroomish line. And so I got another Bugcatcher. This is actually where this Bugcatcher is like he's another interesting one where he's actually going to be using the entire line of Weedle, but he actually went straight over to Beedrill. It's a final evolved form. Beedrill has like some more bug-based attacks, like it knows a Fury Attack, which is a move that that can actually just you know, it's basically a repeated move where it can just attack for up to 1 to 5 turns. The most being just like 5 turns there, but you know, sometimes I guess I just get lucky and only got 2 turns. I think Fury Attack is supposed to be a normal type move and not so much of a bug type, but it's definitely one of those well-known moves that Beedrill uses. And then, of course, it'll go straight over to Weedle's second form, Kakuna. Let's see, I don't think I mentioned this, though, but Weedle in its entire line is all bug and poison types, so of course, it kind of looks like it seems to be a little bit of a better choice than the Caterpie line. Kakunas, or at least any of the Cocoon-based Pokemon, they usually use Harden a lot, which raises up the defense. You know, just evolving isn't enough. Well, you know, sometimes it can be enough, but, you know, it just has to reach the potential. And I believe that was all the trainers, so I just did a little Pokemon Center visit. So there's Bugsy right there. I'm Bugsy. I never lose when it comes to bug Pokemon. My research is going to make me the authority on bug Pokemon. Let me demonstrate what I've learned from my studies. Alright, so here we go. Gym leader number 2. And so here we have Bugsy. And let's see, the first Pokemon that Bugsy's going to use is going to be Metapod. Which I think is going to be our first encounter with Metapod. It evolves from Caterpie at level 7, I believe. Let me see, I'm actually just going to take a look at the movesets it has. I'm actually literally looking this up on Bulbapedia. Metapod has moves Tackle, String Shot, and Harden. I think String Shot we've seen before, but in case I've explained before, String Shot lowers the Pokemon's speed. So therefore it'll be able to, the opposing Pokemon will just be able to attack first, and then yours go last. And, you know, something that can be a bit of a pain in the ass because the battle can just take long. And Pidgey just learned a Quick Attack, which is a priority +1 move, so that way there you can always go first. And then the next one Bugsy's going to send out is Kakuna, so another Cocoon-based Pokemon. It knows moves Poison Sting, String Shot, and Harden. And Poison Sting, I think I might have already explained, but you know, it's a damage dealing poison type move, and does sometimes have the chance to have your own Pokemon poisoned. And Harden, of course, increases defense, like I said there. And then last but not least will be his ace Pokemon, Scyther. Ooh, wow. Seeing countering Scyther early. Alright, so Scyther, it is a bug and flying type, so of course it's 4 times weak against rock types. Knows moves Fury Cutter, Quick Attack, and Leer. Fury Cutter is basically a one of those bug type moves. Like, it actually starts off very weak, but then for each time it lands a successful hit, then its power goes up for each turn. So it's actually so it can be pretty useful for one thing if for a Fury Cutter. And honestly though, I gotta say, like, you know, Scyther actually does get an evolution in this generation, and it's, you know, without a doubt my absolute favorite bug type Pokemon. Unfortunately though, its move pool sucks in this generation, because I know like later gens it actually has a much better access to later moves like X-Scissor, which is my favorite bug type attack. But of course, unfortunately, it doesn't exist in this gen, and so it doesn't really have much more for it. I actually was originally considering Scyther on my team, but because of its lacking move pool, then I had to decide against it. So anyway, so we have defeated Bugsy, and so we've received the Hive Badge. Do you know the benefits of Hive Badge? If you have a Pokemon that's a level 30, will obey you, even traded one. So I never really got to explain this here, but whenever you collect some badges, the traded Pokemon will start to obey you more. And so, like, if you let's say if you're trade over, if you're basically trade over from a higher level Pokemon that doesn't technically belong to you, they can basically disobey you, and so they won't really use moves at all. But if you have the right number of badges, and then you reach kind of a certain level requirement for them, then that's when that's when the traded Pokemon will start to respect you, and then they'll actually just start listening to your commands. So yeah, basically the more badges you have, then the more beneficial it actually gets. So for right now, since we have 2 badges, then traded Pokemon at level 30 will be able to obey us. And that was TM49, or TM49, I think it was, that Bugsy just gave us, which contained a Fury Cutter. Which I'm probably not going to use, though, because, you know, I don't really have any bug types in the moment, which, like I said, I had considered Scyther at one point. But, because of its lacking move pool, then I had to decide against it. But that's why I went for a Judo instead, so let me take a drink of my water real quick. Something I was going to try. Oh, what the hell do you want? Tell me something. Is it true that Team Rocket has returned? What? You beat them? Ha! Quit lying! You're not joking. Then let's see how good you are. Alright, well, he suddenly disappeared when we don't want him to, and I guess we might as well battle him. So, yes, so here we have Fuck Bag Round 2. And he has a few more Pokemon in his party now. He's going to start with Ghastly, and Ghastly, well, I'm not even kidding, he actually does have the same exact moves as my Ghastly does. So, yeah, if you take a guess, yep, that's right, it's Hypnosis, Slick, and Spite. You do want to watch out for Hypnosis, though. Like, even though it does have a low accuracy, to where, like, it has a chance of missing quite a few times, you do want to be careful with that as well. But just give it a couple licks, and then it should be fine. And, well, okay, I thought I was going to knock it out. I guess the previous one was just a critical hit. Which, critical hits is something that that does happen occasionally. And it actually does, that's when it moves just like something because it's more powerful. But it's kind of like a luck base. So I may just take that one down, even though it's just like an equal level. And then next he's going to send out Zubat, which I think I'll go ahead and, I think it's where I'll send out Daruk for the next one. Yeah, that's right, okay, so anyway, Zubat. Zubat has moves, let's see here, Leech Life, Supersonic, and Bite. I think I already explained stuff about Supersonic, where it has a chance of confusing your Pokemon, where if Pokemon's confused, it has a chance of attacking itself. But it also has a low accuracy compared to a Nightshade, not Nightshade, Confuse Ray. And Leech Life is a damage-dealing bug-type move, which actually not only damages your Pokemon, but also absorbs its HP, and then the opponent will heal itself. And then Bite is also another damage-dealing move, and actually, remember, Bite was introduced in Gen 1. It was originally a normal-type move. In Gen 2, however, it becomes a new type that was introduced in this generation, the Dark types. And as a matter of fact, Gen 2 is when it introduced 2 new typings, as Dark types and Steel types. Which I'll probably go a little more detail about it pretty soon. So, let's see. Yeah, I think that's all the moves to cover. And then last but not least, he has his Croconaw, which is evolved from Totodile. I believe at level 16, and I actually kind of like how Croconaw's wearing this loincloth, kind of like a caveman. But And of course, yeah, this is basically where he'll have his starter Pokemon evolve to its second stage. So, like, for Chikorita, it'll be Bayleaf. And then for Cyndaquil, it'll be, Quilava. So anyway, so Crocodile has the moves Scratch, Leer, Rage, and Water Gun. Rage's move actually starts off with very low power, but actually does... but its power actually does increase for each time it's attacked, where it's basically its Rage builds, but it's not really the best of all the moves there. But then there's Water Gun, which is actually one of the earlier kind of moves that you can get. So like basically basically those elemental types you'll have, like, and for water types case you get Water Gun, grass types you have Razor Leaf or Vine Whip, and then for fire types you get Ember. But Water Gun would definitely be the water-based attack there. So and yeah, I think that's about all she wrote here. So with that, then Fuckbag has been defeated. Useless Pokemon. Listen, you only won because my Pokemon were weak. No, because, it's because I kicked your ass and my Pokemon are awesome. I hate the weak. Pokemon trainers, it doesn't matter who or what. I'm going to be strong and wipe out the weak. That goes for Team Rocket too. They act big and tough in a group. But get them alone and they're weak. I hate them all. You stay out of my way. A weakling like you is only a distraction. Oh, go fuck yourself, you piece of shit. Seriously, this guy though, seriously, not only does he appear when you don't want it to, just to challenge you to battle, but even each time after you defeat him, he just goes and calls you a weakling and claims that he's the absolute strongest, and but he still keeps on losing to you each time. What an ass. It's times like these, in later gens, we just get nothing but those friendly rivals, which a lot of people are pretty mixed about. And of course, it wasn't until well. Technically, I would say Gen 7, although then again, Gladiion's reasoning is excusable. But then Gen 8, we have Bede, and that guy is a prick. So yeah. But, I'll definitely talk more about him once, in many years from now, once I get to doing a Let's Play of Sword and Shield. But, anyway, so that's pretty much everything in Azalea Town, and so I'll just go ahead and get some stuff there. We can actually buy some repels right now, so since he'll be in stock. One thing I do gotta say though, that back in the earlier gens, the Pokemarts will just have their own selection of the items. Starting with Gen 4, this actually changes to where all the Pokemon Marts will start with the most basic of items, but as you earn more badges, then their selection increases. Of course, they'll still have potions and whatnot available at their disposal, but if you collect more badges, then their selection increases for any kind of better potential items, but not the case of those earlier gens where they just have their own selection of items. But but it's also some kind of, I know I'm jumping ahead of it here, but because that'd be something to talk about once I actually do get to doing a Let's Play of Gen 4. So anyhow, so here we have the next dungeon. This is the Ilex Forest. Ilex Forest doesn't really have any tall grass like other forest dungeons do, some of this. Oh, wait a second. Oh, what's going on? Oh, the egg is hatching, it looks like. Oh, let's see what's gonna be. And this egg is, after all those steps we took, it's a Togepi. Which I'm not really gonna add to my team though. So Togepi came out of its egg. And so yeah, now the egg that was given to us has been hatched, and so we can just just call Professor Elm. God damn, can't speak today. Going ahead and look at its Pokedex entry real quick. So Togepi, the Spike Ball Pokemon, is considered to be a symbol of good luck. Its shell is said to be filled with happiness. Nice. And I believe that it does evolve to a second stage if you have a certain number of friendship, which is actually something I'll talk about later. So, why did hatch? Wow, what kind of Pokemon is it? Please come show me now. All right, so normally we can actually go ahead and show the Togepi to Professor Elm, but that means having to go all the way back over to New Barktown to show it to him. So we're not going to do that just yet, though, because I really don't feel like having to go all the way back over. But once we get closer to the fourth gym, there should be a shortcut that will take us over. Well, actually, we saw that shortcut before. It's where that weird-looking tree was. But once we deal with that, then that'll take us. That'll be its shortcut to go through Violet City, and then once we get to that, that's when we'll go back to New Barktown and show Professor Elm the egg. So that's what we'll do. So for now, I'll just just hold off on it, put it in the PC, and then when the time comes, I'll just show it to him. He'll give me an item for that though, but it's not exactly worth it, I would say. But I figured just do it anyway. So Anyway, so what we're doing right now is that there's this tree that's blocking our path at the moment. But we see here that if you go this way is a little maze, and there is a Farfetch'd, because apparently the charcoal people has their Farfetch'd that usually does charcoal for them. But it went on, but it actually went missing and flew off. And so what we had to do is that we actually had to go after her and basically just chase after her, and then basically talk to her, and then just have it fly over, like only in the right kind of directions that you have to do. So in other words, it's a fetch quest. Say a Farfetch'd fetch quest. Would you say? Yeah, that's basically all I had to do. So just wait till you get over there. So anyway, what I was gonna say about Ilex Forest is that like unlike the other forests, you basically if you just basically walk around without repels, then that's when wild Pokemon will actually just come to you just by walking around the forest. So it's not like the others where they just have the tall grass. So it's kind of like its own unique thing. So anyway, that should be the end of it here. So yeah, thanks a whole bunch. My boss Pokemon won't obey me because I don't have a badge. Well, why don't you just go and get a badge then? I mean, you just catch a Pokemon and then just challenge gym leader. So it's just simple as that. So. Anyway, so now we have the Farfetch'd back, and so he's going to thank us with a little something here. And that would be HMO1, and that one contains Cut. Cut is, one of those damage-dealing normal-type moves, and since we have the Hive badge, that will allow us to be able to cut down those trees here in the overworld. And ladies and gentlemen, Cut also sucks here. I mean, even though it does take damage, it's still kind of a waste of space, because, it is definitely a normal-type move, so yeah. But since I'm one of those guys who doesn't really like using HM slaves all that much, then I figure I'd just go ahead and just teach Audrey Cut. I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of Rap because it's unlikely they'll ever be using Rap though, because I just never really found myself using that much. So anyway, let's go ahead and just cut out the tree. One thing that's actually kind of changed from Gen 1 is that because back in those games, the only way to remove some obstacles is actually just go to your Pokemon menu and then select the Pokemon itself that has the HM move, and then just select the HM move itself. They changed that in Gen 2 to where you can actually just interact with those objects, and then it'll ask if you want to go ahead and get rid of those objects, for instance, and then they'll just cut away. So it's actually a neat little shortcut there. And that was the Ilex Forest shrine that we just talked to. That's actually for some kind of a certain event. For a mythical Pokemon that actually I can show off though, because back then it's exclusive to that one event, which is no longer around unfortunately, unless you have some kind of a Game Shark or any kind of cheating device. But I think it's Japan only though, because I don't think us Americans were able to get access to those. So only those are cartridge versions. But however though, since I'm actually playing the virtual console version, what they did is that they actually outright gave us the event for free, and allow us to use it, so that way we can actually go and encounter the 7 mythical Pokemon for a certain kind of Pokeball that we'll be seeing. So because of that, since I'd be able to do all that, and with the virtual console version I'm playing, that means I can actually at least show it off. But that's gonna be like basically I would say after the end of this LP, and then I'll just go ahead and just show that one off. So at least I can still do that though. And what this guy just gave us was a Headbutt. Headbutt has it's a normal type move, but it does have has quite a lot of power. It does hurt quite a lot though. You can also use it in the overworld as well. So like if you see those small trees that are around here, if you use a Headbutt on those, then some of the Pokemon that will be sleeping in the trees will come out. Like during the daytime it'll be a Hoodoo since they're night exclusive, and of course in battle they'll already be sleeping. But you also get to encounter some bug-type Pokemon, like Heracross, for instance, which is a bug and fighting type, and actually one of the other good bug-type Pokemon that you can use because of its fighting type. So of course, if you ever want some fighting type coverage, then I definitely would recommend Heracross. And this trainer I actually want to show off though, because this guy is actually a Crystal exclusive, because he doesn't appear in Gold and Silver and none of the remakes. Yeah, this guy only appears in Crystal, so I figured just go ahead and show him off, because just for the sake of it. I'm just getting another drink of my water here, even though he's using the kind of Pokemon that we've already encountered. But I want to show him off anyway, because he's a trainer of interest since he's a Crystal exclusive. Hang on one second. Yeah, I guess my mouth was dry from talking so much, so. Anyway, Pokemon never seen fellow tree when I use a headbutt. So yeah, he was basically talking about a headbutt for the some of the trees here. Let's see here. So yeah, what I want to say though is that you know, in Crystal, there are actually some exclusive trainers that you can battle, but only in that version. So those ones I can at least show off. And so, kind of this guy here, then we have made out of Ilex Forest, and we talked to this lady here. She'll give us this TM. This is a TM12, and that one contains Sweet Scent. Sweet Scent, in battle, it lowers down the Pokemon's evasiveness, so that way your attacks will get more accurate, and then it loses, and some of the attacks will never miss. Not only that though, but in the overworld, you can use a Sweet Scent to attract Pokemon in the tall grass, and then you'll get encounters for those. So it could be like some rare Pokemon that that can only be encountered with a Sweet Scent, and so you know, just basically what it does. I think that's a move that was introduced in this generation. So so actually, it does help for some Pokemon that you want to encounter or just you want to catch. She says the exact same dialogue in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but the TM she gives you, the move that it contains, is entirely different. It has nothing to do with Sweet Scent, and it's completely like lost in translation. So, so yeah, kind of a copy-pasted laziness there. So, anyway, so there's one more trainer to battle before we end off this video. We're here we are on Route 34, and I guess there's kind of a reason why it's called Route 34, if you know what I mean. But we're gonna see what it is in the next episode. Yeah. I think this youngster does have one Pokemon that we haven't seen yet, but we'll see pretty soon. I actually do want to talk a little more about Togepi. So so Togepi and its evolved form in this generation at least, like it's like not exactly the greatest there is, so I probably wouldn't recommend it too much. Unless if it was Gen 4 though, because Gen 4 like, for one thing, it actually does give it an evolution in Togekiss. And not only that, though, but then come Gen 6, it gets even more powerful, maybe because it becomes a Fairy type. Well, of course, for Togepi, it becomes a pure Fairy type. While the evolved forms of Togetic and Togekiss, they become Fairy Flying types, which, you know, really is a great kind of a type combination. They have, like, a much better move pool. So, you know, something definitely to recommend there. But yeah, right now, Togepi does evolve to Togetic with a high level of friendship, but that's actually something I'll talk about, like especially once we get to the next town over, because they actually do bring up the friendship system in that town, so I'll at least talk about that in that aspect. And actually, as a matter of fact, I did say that there was a Pokemon we haven't encountered, but like but that was actually a Sandshrew. We've already encountered a Sandshrew in the wild, but we haven't exactly battled it, though, so I figured I'd just go and just show it off anyway, so yeah, there was that. So, being by a passing stranger, yeah, of course, you just, you know, well, of course, you wanted to battle this random passing stranger anyway, so, yeah, I mean, very chance we might lose anyway, so. Anyhow, so I guess that should do it for this video. So next time on Let's Play Pokemon Crystal, we are going to continue up to Route 34 and hopefully reach over to the next town. It's going to be a big one as well. And probably a lot to talk about that one. So I will see you guys next time.